Ooh, welcome to Ole Walls House. It's me. It's your man. It's your main man. It's Ole Walls coming your way for OWH number 140. 140 coming up. Fun show coming, ladies and gentlemen. We got NFL Week 1 to talk about. College football's going on. Baseball's still rolling. I haven't forgot about my Guardians. Before we get to that, just want to say thank you to everybody. I appreciate all you. Appreciate the watches, the listens. So thank you so much. As always, you know the deal, the housekeeping. If you could, rate, review, comment, subscribe, share. Let somebody know about Ole Walls House. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Instagram. Share it on the Twitter. The X to the Z. So without much further ado, let's go dive in. Let's start talking about NFL Week 1. Okay, let's kick off the NFL section here talking about the Green Bay Packers. Not the week we were looking for to start. Packers lose a sloppy game, 34-29, against the Eagles in a game where it felt like they should have been up like 21-0 to start the game. And all of a sudden, it's halftime and they're losing 19-17. So they come out. You know, Jalen Hurts is turning the ball over. He turns it over 3 times in the game. Get 2 field goals out of it in the first quarter. The field goal kicker, Braden Averson, actually ends up missing a field goal later in the game. The Packers are sloppy. They catch Philadelphia with 12 men on the field and score a touchdown early. Turns out the Packers had 12 men on the field. We were going 12 on 12. We should have just counted that shit. But just ugly. Xavier McKinney makes his presence known early. He gets a pick. It can't do anything with it. Then there's a fumble. Packers can't do anything with that. That's how we get the 2 field goals. Josh Jacobs looked terrible early in the game. Terrible. So much so that they subbed him out for a couple drives for Wilson. Jair was getting cooked up to like the third quarter. Jordan Love was looking more like the Jordan Love of the first half of last year as opposed to the Jordan Love from the second half of last year. Josh Jacobs was fumbling the football. Jordan Love threw one of the worst interceptions I've ever fucking seen in my life. Just lobbed one over the middle. That was on the heels of throwing 2 passes that probably should have been picked. There was like a screen and then another one that should have been picked. It just wasn't good, man. I mean, and then the pick he did, he like lobbed it into double coverage right across the middle of the field. The 6-minute mark of the third quarter, the defense had finally got to stop and just throw it all away. This wasn't a game where I felt like the Eagles just beat the shit out of us. This was a game that the Packers could have won. And they didn't. And not because Jaden Reed wasn't a motherfucker. Jaden Reed, 4 catches, $138 for a touchdown. But, like, man, there was just so much dumb stuff. They were sloppy. There were a lot of penalties. Let me see if I can find the penalties. 10 penalties for 71 yards. The Eagles had 3 turnovers. I mean, good Lord. 3 of 11 on third down. Just not good. Just not good. I mean, Josh Jacobs ends up running for 84 yards on 16 carries. Just bad. Just bad. I mean, Jordan Love was 17 of 34 for 260. 2 touchdowns and then that interception. The D was just getting slowly gashed. And even when the D does make a good play, like Jair picks off Jalen Hurts from the end zone, and the fucker runs it out of the end zone. There's nowhere to go. He somehow gets it out to like the 10. And that was a miracle that he did that. It's just like, just fucking go down. You've been getting toasted all fucking game. I mean, there were 3 different red zone opportunities that all ended in field goals. I don't know if they scored in the red zone. Let me see if I can see if the scoring's all right. I'm thinking back. That's a long time ago. Yeah, 70-yard pass from Love for the 1 touchdown. Sorry, 2-yard pass. So they went 1 of 4. 1 of 4 in the red zone. Not ideal. Not ideal. That's not like the gold zone days when Rodgers and LaFleur came in and were just killing it. Just Oh, Jaden Reed, though. Jaden Reed was a bright spot. I've liked that dude last year. I was trying to get him in fantasy leagues. I got him in none. And it shows because my team suck ass. But, it was disappointing. And then we deal with the crux of it is that Jordan Love's hurt. He goes down on the second or third to last play of the game. It comes out that's a sprained MCL. I've seen the initial reports are 3 weeks, but everything I've read is like 6 weeks is very possible. So we're going to Malik Williams, who got sacked in the game because he couldn't get off the Hail Mary, or Sean Clifford. I've seen, 4 years of Sean Clifford as a starter, 6 years of Sean Clifford total at Penn State. He stinks. Like, he's not going to be able to get it done. There was a report that the Packers had reached out to Ryan Tannehill that was quickly refuted, and that's not true. I mean, why would we want to try and win? I mean, if you look at the Packers' schedule, let's just look at the Packers' schedule coming up here. We got the Colts next week, who showed some flashes, this week, and you're like, man, the Colts could be something. I mean, Anthony Richardson going out, and then at times you're like, God damn, what are they doing? Like, what are they doing? But who knows what you're going to get with the Colts. They end up they gave the Texans a game. That should be mentioned. They gave the Texans a game. The Texans are a team everyone thinks highly of. But, it's the Colts. It's the Titans, who they looked terrible. What'd that final end up here? I got to search back. They lost, 24-17. The Bears had, I think what the Bears have, while we're talking about the Titans here, they gained 148 yards, and the Titans lost to them. Like, that's a winnable game. Get Ryan Tannehill in here for that. And then the Vikings, who they beat up on the Giants, but it's the fucking Giants. So, like, that's the next 3 weeks before it's Rams, Cardinals, Texans, Jags, Lions, Bears. I mean, get through that and see if you can sneak out a couple wins. Because if you don't, the fucking season's damn near over already. Like, if you come out of that stretch and you're 0-4 or 1-4, or 0-4 or 1-3 rather, the Rams looked solid last night, despite having 3 linemen out, despite losing Puka. Sean McVay just continues to be a dude. The Cards gave the Buffalo Bills all they wanted. The Texans, we know what they're about. The Jags were around with the Dolphins all day. Probably should have won. We'll get to the Dolphins. We'll get to Tyreek. Don't worry. And then the Lions. And then, the Bears stunk, and I don't think Caleb Williams looked great, but, like, that's week 1. Like, Caleb Williams could look a lot better on November 17th in Chicago. Like, Jesus. Then there's the 49ers, the Dolphins, the Lions again. That's fucking a murderous stretch. From Rams to Lions. October 6th to December 5th is fucking murder. You can't be 0-4 and 1-3 going into that stretch. So I don't know why they're immediately like, Malik Williams, Sean Clifford, those are our guys. Go fucking call Tom Brady for all I care. I mean, I said this was back in 2013? Rodgers got hurt. I was like, fucking call Brett Favre. Like, try something. Don't just trot Seneca Wallace out there. They trotted Seneca Wallace out there. God, I'm already on the negative. Up, down, up. They bring me in just in time to fucking just stab me in the heart. Let's talk about other football. Mentioned the Colts. Like I said, they hung around. They hung around with the Texans. Anthony Richardson was launching some balls. That was impressive. He looked impressive. The Panthers, Bryce Young, still sucks. Like, that's there can't be much when you're going to be done with that experiment. I mean, what did that boil down to for his stats? 13 of 30 for 161 yards and 2 interceptions. How many sacks did they give up? How many sacks did they give up? 4 sacks a lot. That's the Saints. I don't think anyone's thinking the Saints are going to be juggernauts, but, maybe. I mean, who knows? I mean, Derek Carr played well, 19 of 23, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Kamara rushed for 85 and a touchdown. But, good Lord. I mean, their top 2 receivers were Rashid Shaheed and Foster Moreau. Like, that Juwan Johnson's on there. I mean, I know they have Olave, but I mean, he got 2 catches. Ooh, it might be time to blow it up in Carolina already. Just might be time to blow it up. I mean, I know we're 1 game into the season. It's overreaction Monday, right? The first Monday of the season. Everybody overreact. Some other teams that stunk in week 1. The Bengals. The Bengals lose to the Patriots. Joe Burrow looks like absolute dog shit. I had the opportunity to start Joe Burrow or Pat Mahomes in my fantasy league. I thought, Pat Mahomes is playing the Ravens. Oh, what a game that was, too. Got a little ahead of myself. I'm like, Pat Mahomes is playing the Ravens. Joe Burrow's playing the dog shit New England Patriots. And I was like, Joe Burrow's the easy choice for that. I mean, not that Pat Mahomes played incredible, but Joe Burrow played like ass. Chiefs-Ravens, great game. Comes right down to the wire. Lamar did miss a couple of guys in the end zone right before that last catch that was the guy's just big toe was out of bounds. Oh, that was rough. Flowers was open, and I think it was likely in the back left corner, kind of almost got himself hurt. Lamar had a winter hat on after the game. I know that's just kind of the thing, but I think it was like hot in Kansas City that day. Not sure. It was thunderstorming. Who knows? Pat Mahomes did catch his own pass at one point in the fourth quarter to prevent a disastrous interception. So that was bad. Almost bad that he saved that. Talking about stinking, Kirk Cousins, just dog shit. I thought I threw a little wager on the Falcons this week. I was thinking to myself, they're playing the Steelers with Justin Fields. Like, they can beat the Steelers and Justin Fields, can't they? No, Kirk Cousins, 16-26, 155, 2 interceptions. Like, Jesus, how bad are you? I know it was his first game back, and I know things can change vastly from week 1 to week 2. That's just, initial thoughts. Some good out there. Baker Mayfield played good. Mike Evans, still a dude. The Dolphins, after a slow start, Tyreek gets pulled over on the way into the stadium. They're down 17-7 at halftime. They pitch a shutout in the second half and get a field goal as time expired. Tyreek has a great game, 7 receptions, 130 yards, and a touchdown. Why are they showing me Jeff Wilson Jr. as the leading rusher for? He was the leading rusher. That's why. Actually got all his yards receiving. Yeah, actually had just 10 rushes for 24 yards, but he did score a touchdown, and then he had another 7 catches for 76 yards. Waddle eclipses the 100-yard mark for them. Just a nice performance. Gutty performance from the Dolphins. Not something we always say about the Dolphins, but, that was a gutty performance out of them, and they kind of dragged one out of the mud when they could have not. Jim Harbaugh gets a win in his first game. The Arizona Cardinals, and I just get a thing, Packers LaFleur, former third-round QB to play if Love not cleared. Malik Williams in line to start. Awesome. Cardinals gave the Bills everything they wanted and then some. The Bills, big third quarter to take the lead, I believe. Am I doing my math right? Yep, big third quarter. Josh Allen had himself a day. Josh Allen goes for 232 through the air, runs for another 40 yards and 2 touchdowns there. 4 touchdown day for Mr. Allen. Nice start to the year for him after the... Ooh, that's a bug. Get out of here. Shoot flag. Nice start for him after kind of a rocky start for the team. The Browns get embarrassed by the Cowboys. If you remember, I said the Cowboys are going to win the division, the AFC East. I thought the Eagles would be a mess this year. What I saw from the Eagles against the Packers in Brazil, by the way, that field was dog shit too. I mean, Saquon slipped. If they ride the Saquon train, they can do all right. But Jalen Hurts didn't impress me. They were sloppy, and hey, it's the first game. It's in a different country. Again, a lot can happen from week 1 to week 2. But I'm not impressed by the Eagles, so I'm feeling good about that. The only thing to say, the Browns stink. Deshaun Watson sucks. He went 24-45 for 169 yards and 2 TDs. I mean, Zeke ran for 10 carries for 40 yards. Dak got his money. CeeDee got his money, I believe, too. Or they're at least close. Just very, very unimpressed with the Browns and super unimpressed with Deshaun Watson. We mentioned the Lions pull out a real good one over the Rams. I did not make it all the way through that. So we just got one game left this week. We got Jets, 49ers, Aaron Rodgers, the Jets story, round 2. Can he make it more than 4 plays? They gave him Monday Night Football again. He's got to go on the road to San Francisco. That's going to be a tough spot. What are we going to see out of McCaffrey? He's been hurt. I am going to stay up. I'm going to watch the game. I'm going to throw a little Monday night addendum in. I will warn you that's going to be more rare, this year, just with the way that everything works. Pre-video days, it was real easy for me to slap that in and out the door it went. A little more to it nowadays. So when there are Monday nights, the show is going to come out later in the day on Tuesday. If I don't do the Monday night, I'm not interested in the game, then it'll come out at the regular early Tuesday morning. Next week, Falcons-Eagles. This point in my life, I'm thinking that's not happening. Week 3, Commanders-Bengals, probably not happening. Seahawks-Lions, it could be. Wait, they're 2 Monday nighters? Oh, that's right, they're doing 2 Monday. I missed the first week double Monday nighter. We got the Friday game. So September 16th is a Monday, so it's the 23rd. Yeah, double Monday nighter, week 3, Bills, Jags, Commanders, Bengals. So line that one up. Week 3 will be the next Monday night addendum for you. Let's just talk a couple of games next week that seem interesting. 49ers go to the Vikings. Bills, Dolphins, Thursday. Ooh, good Thursday game right out of the gate. Good Thursday game. Saints, Cowboys. That's kind of an interesting one, the way the Saints started. See if the Cowboys can do it against a little better competition. Obviously, my Packers and the Colts. Browns, Jags. Couple of 0-1 teams looking for a win. The Bucs, after a good week with Baker playing well, heading to Detroit. Okay, interesting. Rams, Cardinals. That could have a little interest and intrigue to it. The Bears head to the Texans on Sunday Night Football. The Bengals got to bounce back after a shitty week and head to Arrowhead. Yeah, you never know. Steelers get the Broncos. The Broncos. Bo Nix didn't play bad, I don't think. I didn't see much of that game. Where's the Broncos? Where's my Broncos here? Broncos, Seahawks. The Seahawks got them. Oh, no. Bo Nix played bad. 26 of 42, 130 yards, 2 interceptions. Don't know where I got that impression from, that he didn't play too bad, but I was wrong. So, yeah, great Thursday night game. Interesting 49ers, Vikings. Patriots get the Seahawks. Can the Patriots get another one? The Jim Harbaugh area could be off and running with heading to the Panthers. It's going to blow the doors off them, you'd have to think. Saints, Cowboys. Cowboys going in that early slot. They don't get their vaunted 4:30 game. There's some good games next week. God, I love the NFL. I love it. All right. That's all for this week. We'll be back shortly with Monday night's results here. Moving on. Monday night addendum. Game not quite over yet. Just under 6 minutes here as the 49ers snap the ball. They're going to run it again. Shocker. And they're going to get a ton of yards. It's like 7-8 there on second down for the 49ers. 49ers are good, man. Just pretty dominant win. And I think the story of the game is time of possession. With just over 5 minutes left to go, the time of possession tonight, 36:07 and counting for the San Francisco 49ers, just 17:25 for the New York Jets. And 7 minutes of that was the first touchdown drive for the Jets. Just pounding the rock. What have they run for tonight? They've run for 176 yards, thrown for 227 more. No turnovers. Jets have turned it over twice. The Rodgers interception in the second half, or was that the first half? Whatever it was. And then the Breece Hall fumble right at the start. Rodgers has looked relatively good, I would say. A couple of moments where he's made some questionable throws. The interception was a questionable throw. At the same time, I think if Garrett Wilson comes back to the ball and comes and gets it, it's not going to be an interception. On their last drive, when they were down 2 scores with a chance to score, get a stop, score, and they'd have to go for 2 both times to tie it. Garrett Wilson catches one on second down, and then doesn't get a second foot down, steps on the line just with just a tippy tip of his toes, a little more than in the Ravens game, and they don't get it. I mean, just clinical from the 49ers tonight. 24 first downs, 50% on third down, just doing whatever they want offensively. The Jets defense cannot get off the field. They actually have a chance to stop them here, and they do get a sack to hold them to a field goal, but it's just not going to be enough. So yeah, Jets, some sloppy stuff early. Alan Lazard dropped a very catchable ball on third down to start the game, and then the next series was the Breece Hall thing. Like I said, Rodgers looked relatively good. I mean, it's his first game since January of 2023, when the Packers were eliminated from the playoffs by the Lions. For a team that's defense was supposed to be good, they got run over pretty good tonight. That said, it's the 49ers, and even the 49ers without Christian McCaffrey, they just subbed in Jordan Mason. He has 147 yards on the ground himself. So what are you going to do? Sometimes you're into the buzzsaw. It's 32-13 now with 4 minutes to go. Going to get to see a little more Rodgers here at the end, see if he can sling it around. Maybe they just kind of run it out, but who knows? I'd like to see him sling it. But yeah, just a little sloppy from the Jets to start the season, and the 49ers they're right back at it, man. They're going to be tough to beat. I mean, who else in the NFC is gonna hang with them? Really? I mean, it's kind of the question. Can the Lions do it? I mean, I don't know if the Lions are that good. The Eagles, I thought the Eagles looked sloppy. I mean, the Cowboys in the playoffs, who knows? Who knows? I mean, the Vikings, no. Anybody in the NFC South, no. The Saints or the Bucks. Falcons and Panthers stink. The Rams, they're kind of banged up. This looks like, I mean, again, week one, overreacting probably, but this looks like all roads lead right back to the NFC title game and maybe the Super Bowl for the San Francisco 49ers if they can stay healthy, especially if they get CMC back. I mean, shit, they're doing this with Jordan Mason. Woo. Also, as I watch a kickoff here, the new kickoff, whatever. Just, if you want to make it interesting, move it back so they can't kick it out of the end zone every fucking time. Here we go. So, final Rodgers drive here of the night, probably. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna call it there, and we'll see you next week. Peace. But there is actually more. College football now. The final game of week one last week that did not make the cut for me to talk about. The Boston College, what are they, the Eagles? BC Eagles, Boston College Eagles? Just run it up and down on Florida State. Florida State becomes, I think it was the first top 10 team to lose its first two games of the year. Obviously, that was helped by the fact that they played a week 0 game over in Ireland, so they didn't actually have a new ranking by the time that game happened or something like that, I think. I forget what the shit was. But yeah, so they go down 0-2 to start the season. I didn't even see what they did this week. Let me see if I can change it. It's just showing me top 25 on this. I'll find it. I didn't watch a ton of college football. I watched some. I was at the range for a good portion of the day on Saturday. Texas goes into Michigan and just dominates them. Penn State just hangs on to beat Bowling Green. Just, good Lord, what was that? I mean, they were trailing as late as the very end of the first half. They ended up getting a touchdown to take the lead midway through the third quarter. Nick Singleton had himself a day. He ends up breaking one to kind of ice the game with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 13 carries, 119 yards for him, including a big 40-yarder he busted off. He must have had a couple of receiving yards, too. 14 yards and a touchdown there, so 133 total yards. Drew Aller, 13 of 20, 204, just an interception. I didn't watch a ton of this game. I didn't really pencil out my schedule to watch Bowling Green come into Happy Valley and expect a whole lot out of it. But alas, here we are. In one of the other marquee games of the week, Nebraska just fucking annihilates Colorado. It was 28-10, but it was 28-0 in the first half. Colorado got some scores. They got their first touchdown of the game in the fourth quarter. when LeJontay Wester received a 5-yard pass from Shedeur Sanders. But 23 at 38 for 244 yards, a touchdown interception for Shedeur Sanders. Dylan Raiola cools down significantly in game 2. Only goes for 185 yards. Did not throw an interception, though. 23 at 30. Quite efficient. Must have been checking down a lot. Travis Hunter had a big game, but what do you know? The Colorado Buffaloes don't win the big game so far again this year. And just immediately, they're talking shit. Let's see. What I saved this quote. Shedeur Sanders, how many times did Raiola get touched today? Like, you're just gonna light. I mean, he went on to say, like, oh, if you can't run efficiently, but like, motherfuckers lighting up his line again. They're just not built to be winners, man. I don't know. Maybe more time with Neon, but this whole thing, and this isn't an original thought. This is plenty of people out here who think this. This whole thing seems like a vehicle for Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter and the other Sanders kid to make the NFL. And if he can pump them up as much as he can here and get them drafted high, and you know what? Hey, more power to you. But I don't know. Oregon hangs on. Boise State was looking to cause some problems. Boise State went up 34-27 in the fourth quarter. Again, I didn't see that game, but like I said, I didn't watch a lot of college football this week because there just wasn't much happening that I thought. Probably the biggest upset in a long time. Northern Illinois goes into South Bend. I believe they were a 30-point dog. And last-second field goal, they knock off Notre Dame. Notre Dame paid them something like $1.4 million. So, wowzers. Big games coming up. Friday night, Kansas State, number 20. Arizona comes to town. Friday night game. Friday night Big 12 ball. Boston College goes to Missouri on Saturday. LSU goes to South Carolina. Notre Dame plays Purdue. Ole Miss, Wake Forest, Utah State, Texas, UTSA. Georgia plays Kentucky. That might not be horrendous, right? That's the Saturday night game. I mean, is that it? Alabama goes to Wisconsin. That's going to be a fucking disaster for Wisconsin. Is Wisconsin 2-0? Yeah, they snuck by South Dakota. Not South Dakota State, just South Dakota. The South Dakota Coyotes. That's got to be an FCS school. Yep. Yeah, that's gonna be a massacre. Just a massacre. So yeah, nothing crazy in college football coming this week. Top 25 is out. The SEC holds 6 of the top 7 spots. Georgia, Texas at 1-2. Ohio State comes in at 3rd. Alabama 4. Ole Miss 5. Missouri 6. Tennessee 7. Penn State 8. Oregon 9. The first non-Big Ten or SEC school is Miami at 10. USC at 11. Then we get a run of Big 12 kind of things, and then back to the Southeast, we have Utah, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, Oklahoma, 15. LSU, Michigan, Notre Dame, 16, 17, 18. Clemson sneaks back up a couple spots after demolishing App State. Nebraska sneaks in, Boston College is in, and Northern Illinois has snuck in. Others receiving votes, Illinois. See, I thought that Illinois wasn't bad. Boise State received some. Texas A&M, Syracuse, Memphis, Washington, Iowa, Kansas, and that's about all I care about. So, I'm good on college football for that. Like I said, week next week again. Is the following week, we got some good stuff in like week 4. Week 4. Ohio State, Marshall, Penn State, Kent State. Oh, week 4, USC heads to Michigan Saturday, September 21st. There we go. Utah goes to Oklahoma State. Tennessee plays Oklahoma. There we go. We're cooking a little bit. We're cooking. We got some games. Week 5, we're into Big Ten play. Arizona and Utah are playing. Oregon and UCLA. Michigan, Minnesota. USC, Wisconsin. Ohio State, Michigan State. Penn State, the Illinois game. Georgia, Alabama. There we go. Notre Dame, Louisville. All right. We got to just get to week 4, and then we got some stuff kind of rolling for the rest of the year. All right. Let's move on. I have not forgot about my Guardians, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry. I'm still paying attention to baseball. I'm still watching it. Not as much as I was, not going to lie to you. Football usually takes first priority, but hey, the Guards are on tonight. Start at 6:40, get out ahead of the football game. And, this wasn't a bad week. This wasn't a bad week. They go 3-3. They take 2 of 3 from the Royals, which was important, and they don't get swept by the very good Dodgers. Take the first game. Never really were in the next 2 games. I didn't see much of the Saturday and Sunday games. Caught the end of the Friday night game. I had to do something after the Packers lost, so I just stayed up and watched the Cleveland game. And, hey, they ended my night on a positive note. So, 3-game set coming up against the White Sox. The 33-111 White Sox. Let me say that again. They are 33-111. They have won 33 games. They have lost 111. Like 6 of those wins are against Cleveland. So Cleveland's in Chicago for a 3-game set. The White Sox just won a game, so they got to be due to lose about 10. This needs to be a sweep. This needs to be a sweep. There's no other way around it. Cleveland's only 2.5 up on the Royals. Now, granted, they're still, the Royals are, so Cleveland's 5 clear of the Tigers for the last wild card spot. So this needs to be a sweep, and then they host the Rays to end the week. 6 games this week, right? No, or is that a 4-game set? That's a 4-game set with the Rays. 5-2 at worst. 6-1 preferable. I mean, the Rays are solid, but like you're at home, you're a team fighting to win your division. Those are games you got to win, and you got to beat the White Sox, and you got to sweep them. No more of this bullshit with the White Sox. But as I just mentioned, the wild card, the AL Central, is well in line to get 2 teams into the wild card. The Orioles are going to be there, or the Yankees, whichever team loses that division. But the next non-Central team is the 5th place Seattle Mariners, who are 3.5 back. And then the 6th place Boston Red Sox, who are 4 back. In the wild card race, not in the overall American League. So there could very easily, and pretty much should be, 3 AL Central teams in the playoffs. That said, because of the Chicago White Sox, the AL Central is 34 games under 500. 34 games under 500. And they have 4 teams with winning records. Ay caramba. I mean, the AL East is over 500. The AL West, that'd be close. They might be just under, but ay caramba. That's bad. So, I know it. We'll just keep the tradition. Big week for the Guards. Big week for the Guards. They're all big weeks, right? Every game matters. Home stretch here. 3, 7, 11, 14, 16, 19 games left. Cleveland sits at 82 wins. 81 wins, 19 games left. Let's get 11. Get to 92 and 70. 93 and 69. Nice. Let's do that. All right. Let's keep this thing rolling. Time for some passing thoughts. Don't have a lot. I watched a lot of football this week. Wasn't traveling, so not a bunch of crazy stuff going on for me. Just a couple things. I've had to order surgery clothes for post-surgery. Got button-up pants. Buttons all down the side like your old high school basketball warm-ups, but with 800 more buttons. There must be 20 buttons a leg on this thing. But, need the buttons so I can get, something out around the big leg brace I'm going to have on, and something I can access that pretty easily. So I feel like an idiot with those, but we almost needed a second surgery today. Out walking the dog, and nearing the end of our walk, a couple blocks, maybe quarter of a mile, third of a mile from my house. Another dog walking down the street, one-sided sidewalk on this part of the street, and so I kind of move over to, give the other person some space. And I'm just kind of leaning, looking back and forth, watching my dog, watching their dog. Don't want anything weird to happen. And I'm just walking through a yard, and the grass is a little higher, and I took a step, and I went right in a hole, just covered up by long grass, twisted my ankle like a motherfucker. I go ass over teacups out into the middle of the street. The lady walking the other dog, he's like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" I'm like, I'm fine. I hopped right back up, but I took my first step. I was like, motherfucker. I sprained that ankle quite badly. So, I'm just a walking fucking mess. Got to cross the street to the other sidewalk, just tighten my shoe up as tight as I could, limp my ass home. My dog's trying to sniff everything. Poor Boomer, I'm just kind of like tugging him. Come on, we gotta go, buddy. I can't do this. So I've just been living in an ice bucket today. It's just been awesome. Just going ice bucket, wrapping my ankle back up in an ace bandage, elevating it. Just a lot of fun. Just loads of fun. Oh, God, what a fucking idiot I am. I'm trying to think if I've even ever got anything else. Oh, I saw Bret Hart was going to be on Raw tonight. Oh, wrestling for you here. In my opinion, there may not be an more overrated wrestler in the history of the world than Bret Hart. I just don't get it, man. I know, like, I was a little too old for his prime. His prime was the early to mid-90s. By the time I was, really watching wrestling, he was gone. But I've gone back and watched stuff. He just doesn't do it for me. And he's always bitching. He's always complaining. I know, his career got cut short by Goldberg, and he's fucking happy to tell you, but everything's a bitch to him. I don't get it. I think he's overrated. Been watching How I Met Your Mother. Roommate and I always have a show we watch together. And then we always have shows we watch on our own. And usually those shows are vastly different. I'm usually watching, The Wire, For All Mankind, something along those lines. And she's watching a sitcom, Parks and Rec, an Office, Kath and Kim, stuff. Well, I just decided I wanted to rewatch How I Met Your Mother. And then she was like, I'll watch it too. She's like, because we always like to have a show we watch, when one person's gone, or something I watch while I eat my lunch. We got one big takeaway from How I Met Your Mother. Very good show for like the first 6 seasons. I'm in season 9 now. I've been watching it for a while. Lily's a bitch. She's the worst character on that show. She's always torpedoing everybody's plans. She sucks. But yeah, I told you, I didn't have much for passing thoughts. If something else comes up, I'll toss it into the Monday night addendum that you would have already heard when you've heard this part of the pod. But yeah, I just didn't have much this week. So just dealing with another injury. Just figured one more for the next month while I get ready for surgery. Why not? So yeah, that's all I got. So let's go wrap this thing up. Closing time, everybody. Just want to say thank you once again to everyone. I appreciate it. Thank you for your watches. Thank you for your listens. Share the show if you could. I'd really appreciate that as well. Comment, rate, review, subscribe, all that good stuff. So we're back next week. More college football, more NFL. The Guards still trying to bring home the division. We got good stuff. There might be some golf popping up here later. We got President's Cup in a couple of weeks. That's what I didn't talk about. I didn't talk about the President's Cup picks. I'll talk about that in the Monday night addendum if I remember. So you'll know if I remembered or not by this point, obviously. But yeah, back next week. So a lot of good stuff. UFC 306 in the Sphere. I'll probably watch that. So all that for next week. So till then, peace.